Alright boys, today I'm going to talk to you about 3 main confidence mistakes that I see with most of my clients that I work with, and actually issues that I've fixed this week with clients, okay? Now I'm not going to fuck around, I'm going to get straight into it. The first one is, and this is something I always go through whenever I first get a client, it's the first thing that we try and tackle is that they are identifying themselves as someone without confidence, alright? And that's, if you're doing that from the get-go, you're just fucking yourself over, because literally identity is a massive part of achieving something. Like I said before, you have to genuinely believe something is possible in order for you to actually go and achieve it, in order for you to carry out the correct actions, because every action that you take fulfills whatever belief you have. So if you've got a negative belief about yourself or a limiting belief, then your actions are going to fulfill that, okay? If you've got a positive belief about yourself, your actions are also going to fulfill that. So the first thing is it's all about the mindset. You've got to get your mindset right properly before you can go and tackle any kind of issue. So, you know, when a client will come to me, he's like, oh, I've tried everything, you know, I cannot build my self-confidence no matter what I try. And they're trying all these techniques and methods, but from the get-go, they're still, throughout this process, identifying themselves as someone without confidence, someone who's shy, timid, whatever it might be, all right? So the first thing we need to do is completely eradicate that and replace that with a positive self-belief of, I am confident, I can be confident, you know? I'm no longer this shy, skinny kid, all right? You need to identify yourself as somebody from the get-go with confidence. Even if, okay, even if you're not confident, which you know you're not, okay, at this point, a client will come to me and they're not very confident, they're shy, timid, whatever it is, and they'll say, how can I identify myself as something if I know I'm not that? But that's the point. You need to, from the start, give yourself even more self-confidence, literally by this little mindset hack, by just identifying yourself as somebody with confidence, or at least identifying yourself as somebody who can improve their confidence, all right? Well, anything like that. It doesn't have to be a specific self-belief, but just replacing this negative self-belief you've got of yourself, replacing this negative identification that you are not confident with something positive, makes a complete different dynamic, all right? And you'll notice it, because if you were to try and go through an entire process and try a plan to, you know, fix your confidence, you know, start being more confident, but you're going through that with this self-belief, this kind of belief that you're not confident. Oh, you know, I'm this skinny kid, I've always been shy, I've always been unconfident, all right? Whereas instead, if you go through this process and you've got this belief that you are confident, you know, you can be confident, you can improve this is something that you can improve, okay? And you've just got that positive self-belief about you at all times, you're going to notice that this process you go through, this plan when you try to improve your self-confidence, actually is going to work, all right? Because it's going to be like your actions are going to fulfill that belief. You're going through the process like, oh, you know, I'm unconfident, you know, this is who I am. Your actions aren't really going to align with that, okay? Or your actions are going to align with that, but it's going to be in a negative sense, all right? Do you see what I'm saying? So that's the first thing that we always try and do with clients, is completely eradicate that negative self-belief and replace it with a positive one that's going to allow them to fulfill the correct actions during the plans that we actually give them, okay? So that is the main thing, all right? So from the get-go, all right? And that's with anything, all right? That could be with any issue when it comes to, you know, kind of going to the gym, dating. You've got to eradicate those negative self-beliefs, all right? That's the main thing. And that's number 1. Number 2 is that a lot of people try to pretend to be confident, you know? They're not actually confident. They're not actually doing the things that are going to make themselves confident. They're pretending to be confident. They're kind of pretending to be someone else that they're actually not, okay? And the thing is, I sometimes say to clients, you know, I say not just clients, but anyone in general, if you want to know what confidence looks like, it's okay to kind of look at, you know, confident people, even like fictional characters like, you know, like James Bond and stuff, you know, just these confident kind of characters that you see a lot. If you actually watch them and look at their demeanor and how they act and the subtle things that they do, that's okay. You know, I think that can be a positive thing, just to know what kind of confidence looks like. But don't try to then completely embody them, because it's not going to be an authentic version of yourself, is it? It's simply just going to be an embodiment, almost like an act, all right? Because then when that act fades off and you don't need to act confident anymore, you're going to go back to that kind of shy, insecure person that you are. So, you know, it's just not very long term, okay? If you're going to, like, I don't know, if you're going out and you're like, right, I'm going to pretend to be this person, I'm going to pretend to be really confident. All right, yeah, it might last an hour or two, but at the end of the day, bro, you are who you are. So eventually that's going to fade off and you're then going to start portraying the things that are a part of you. So you're going to start being shy and timid again, because that's the version of you that is you, okay? You're not yet the confident person. So we need to completely get rid of that and instead start becoming the confident person that you know you can be, becoming the most confident version of yourself, doing the right things that are going to allow that to happen, okay? And as I said before, if you're interested in that, if you're interested in actually going into complete depth about all the psychology, all the mindset side of this, then I will leave a link to the applications to my one-to-one coaching in the link of this video, or it is in my YouTube bio if you want to go to that as well. So all you do is you fill out the application. It's very quick. It takes like less than 2 minutes, and I'll get back to you instantly, and we'll talk a little bit more. But for now, I'm just gonna briefly talk about this. So, as I've said, if you're embodying these characters, you're not actually this person, okay? You're not actually that person. You're not actually James Bond, are you? You know what I mean? You're just pretending to be. It's like you're on a stage fucking acting for people. And then when you go, you know when you're at a school play, you have to act on stage, whatever, and then you go back and you just yourself again. You know, that's kind of how it is. So you don't want to do that. That's okay. Like I've said before, that's okay to understand what confidence looks like, all right? You know, James Bond, he walks around with his shoulders back, chin up, you know? He's nice and calm, he talks slowly, you know, that kind of stuff. That's fine to understand what that looks like. And if that's something that you would aspire to be, 100%, you know, that's fine to be like, right, this confident guy that I'm seeing here, I want to be like that, okay? That's completely fine, but you don't want to start immediately acting as if you are that guy, because you're not actually that guy, you're just pretending at that point. You need to start doing the correct things in order to actually become that person, okay? It's not just an act anymore, that's just who you are. You just naturally walk around with your shoulders back and your chin up, and you talk this way and you do this and you do that. That's just become part of you, that's become a part of your authentic self. So at that point, you actually are a confident person rather than just pretending to be a confident person. Do you understand that? I hope that makes sense to you. Because to be honest, I used to do the same thing. I used to do the exact same thing. I used to see someone on TV and be like, shit, that guy's really confident. And then you'd almost have this temporary boost of confidence, you know, because you kind of want to be like that person. You want to act like that person. You aspire to be like that person. So the best thing you can do and the easiest thing to do is to immediately try and embody that character. But eventually it does wear off, doesn't it? And you become less interested to embody that character. You're like, oh, you know, that's fine. I had this temporary boost of confidence and motivation to be like that. Now it's kind of gone. I don't really care anymore. That's the way it is. So you don't want to be like that, because that's going to wear off, all right? You want to actually become someone who is confident. So that's the second point. The third point, the third mistake that I see a lot of clients making is that they're doing the things that are typically designed to improve confidence, okay? And I'll explain what I mean by this in a bit more depth. So when someone says to you, oh, you know, you've got to do the things to make you more confident, they'll usually say stuff like, you know, go to the gym, talk to people, you know, do your work tasks, improve your business, all that. And yes, that is true. You know, those kind of things will improve your confidence, and those things are good to do. 100% do those things. But everybody is different, and there may be a specific thing, and it may be a very subtle thing, it may be a very underlying thing, an underlying issue that is causing you to have low levels of self-confidence. Every single client that comes to me is completely different. You may have had something that happened to you when you were younger that's kind of given you a lasting effect of, you know, low self-confidence. So we have to actually figure out what that is and then come up with a plan to actually fix it, okay? You know, you can't just say to everybody, you know, go to the gym, you know, work on your business, because yeah, all right, you can tell everyone to do that, and that is actually a good thing to do. I 100% recommend everyone goes to the gym and works on something, okay? Those are two main things I recommend that you do, and those two things will improve your self-confidence. But there may be one big main thing that is kind of a barrier to you having your highest level of self-confidence, right? And it might be something that you may not even realize. So it's something that we have to kind of delve into. It's something we have to figure out, and then we can actually create almost like a method or a plan to fix that, so you can then have your highest levels of self-confidence. You can start to build those highest levels of self-confidence in yourself, all right? So because a lot of clients will come to me, they're like, oh, I've done everything, you know, I've been trying everything, I've been going to the gym, I've been working on my business. But this client already goes to the gym. He's like, you know, I've been trying to build my self-confidence, so I've been going to the gym more and stuff like that. And I'm like, well, you already went to the gym, so how is going to the gym more just gonna randomly start to improve your self-confidence? It's not really, is it? Okay, that, you know, they're in good shape. That's not the reason they're not confident. Maybe they're not confident because they have bad social skills. So at that point, we say, right, so the main thing you need to focus on to build your self-confidence is to go out and talk to more people, okay? To interact more, all right? Obviously, yeah, we dive a lot more deep. We dive into more depth in when I'm actually, you know, when you're in my one-to-one coaching, we go through all the little details possible. We go through all the, you know, we tell you the exact methods to use. We tell you exactly what to do. We give you an exact personalized plan. But in a nutshell, that is kind of what it is. You know, you have to make sure that you're not just doing the generic things that most people do just because that's what people say to do. Okay, you have to understand that you're all different. Everybody has a different reason as to why they're not confident. Everyone has a different thing that they need to do in order to unlock those higher levels of self-confidence. You know, for me, it was that I was very unsocial. Okay, that is kind of my example. Me going to the gym, it was like, yeah, okay, I was a little bit more, I felt better about myself, and I looked good, but it didn't make me into the most confident version of myself that I am now. The thing that made me the most confident version of myself was taking myself out of my comfort zone and talking to people, improving my social skills, okay? Being confident in social interactions. Because that was a fear of mine, okay? I used to be scared in situations like that, so I wouldn't be confident in general, because I'd always have this thing in my head. I'm always fearing being in a social situation. So what I did was I focused on that, and I fixed that, and I improved that area of my life, and now I reached my most confident version, okay? It may be just one thing, it may be one or two things, but you have to understand that you are different to everybody else. So there may be something different that you are required to do, or a different area of your life that you're required to fix in order for you to have your highest levels of self-confidence, all right? I hope that makes sense, okay? So those are 3 very big issues that a lot of clients make, and a lot of clients this week have literally made that I've had to fix, okay? And you know, they're understandable. You know, I used to make those exact same mistakes. Like I said before, everything I teach you boys is things that I've been through myself. It's things that I've fixed. It's issues that I've been through. It's pains I've been through. I know exactly how to conquer them. I know exactly how to handle them. Even for a young kid, you know, I've been through a lot. And I'm just here to help you boys achieve those exact same things, fix those exact same problems, okay? And it shows with the massive amount of success we've had with the clients recently. You know, they've been absolutely smashing it. They've been feeling so good about themselves. They've been achieving their goals. They've been, you know, really conquering the fucking world. And that's how you need to be as a man, bro. You need to be always trying to conquer things, always trying to work hard, always trying to reach new levels, all right? So I hope that was helpful for you boys. If you want daily advice, okay, that I will not share on YouTube about my life, about, you know, lessons in general, about dating, social skills, fitness, everything like that, I'll leave a link to my free Telegram. Doesn't cost anything. Join my free Telegram. We're going to try and build a proper community about that. You know, we want to actually have a community of strong-minded young men who want to improve themselves. So I'll be putting daily lessons in that. And yeah, boys, the fucking sun's shining today. I hope you're all feeling good. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it. Drop a comment if you've got any questions. Also, I'll leave a link to my Instagram as well. If you have any questions for me, I'm always happy to answer. So I'll leave my Instagram in the link below. Hope that was helpful for you boys. Have a good day, and I'll see you in a bit.